Did you know that 90% of hotels don't have a 13th floor because of the negative superstition associated with the number 13? Well, believe it or not, it's absolutely true, because developers of the buildings didn't think that guests would want to stay on the 13th floor because they'd be haunted. And interestingly, in many cases when there is a 13th floor, there ends up actually unironically being a lot of hauntings and or killings that happen on these floors. So that's all to say that the 13th floor of hotels is a place that you should absolutely avoid. And that is precisely why we'll be exploring them today. Because I found a combination of haunted hotels that technically don't have a 13th floor and some hotels that still do have a 13th floor, and so we're going to be checking them all out today in this video. So with all that being said, make sure to grab your ghost popcorn and let's do this. Okay guys, behind me is the Robert Treat Hotel in Newark, New Jersey. This is apparently one of the most haunted hotels in all of New Jersey. The reason being is because a lot of people have reported upon walking in, since it has a more vintage feel, that they get a very overwhelming feeling just because there's potentially ghosts that they hear and the vibes are off, lights are flickering, elevator cards don't work. A lot of things are apparently off here, and I'm excited to go to the 13th floor to see, one, if they have it, and two, what the heck is going on. So this one should be good, possibly a little bit creepy. I also got a room here, so we can also check out the room while we're here. But let's see what's on this 13th floor. It's raining outside too as well, so adding to the creepy vibes. So these are all the presidents that have stayed at this hotel. Notably, assassinated, dropped a bomb, died in office. Not good fates. So I wonder if there's something to that. Okay guys, great news. So we just checked in and we are on the 12th floor, which I believe is their proxy for the 13th floor. So I don't think they're gonna have a 13th. Check it out. All right guys, we're officially in the elevator at the Robert Treat Hotel. You'll notice that it's missing a 13th floor, and I was just so lucky to get the 12th floor. So we're gonna be going up to the 12th floor, which is effectively their 13th floor because they are skipping the 13th floor. Let's see what it is. Here it goes. Elevator's about to open. I wonder what's gonna be here.
12th floor. Going up.
A little bit of squeaking. Old chandelier here. Okay, our room is over there, but there's nobody there.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
So as soon as we got off the floor on this 13th floor, i.e. the 12th floor, there was just a guy that was looking the other direction, knocking, as you saw, knocking multiple times in a row. He must have knocked like 6 or 7 times in a row. Nobody would answer the door. We tried to capture some footage of the peephole. He was right across from our room. Really weird start, just having a random person in the hallway like that. Very creepy vibes here though, upon the immediate entrance onto the 13th floor. Since the room is technically on the 13th floor, I'm gonna look for certain things with this black light right here. So maybe there's some scratches on the wall, maybe some blood. I literally see something right there actually. I don't know what that is. Also want to hear some sort of like ghost wailings that some of these people on Reddit and the paranormal forums have reported, and just anything else that I'd consider spooky. So let's go ahead and use this black light first, and I'll let you know if I see anything.
Oh my God. Ooh.
Did you hear that? I think I just heard something. It was like a really loud door shut followed by a little bit of a scream. Again?
Yeah, maybe a little bit scuffed probably, so.
That door has opened and closed 3 times in a row. Right, the beds are pretty clean overall. I'm not seeing too many signs of ghost activity in the room, which is good. I think it's all reserved for the hallway, but I do want to look out for some sort of sound. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom and try to hear some of these wails. I'm gonna listen in on the wall right here to see if there's anything. No, that's good there. Let's try here. Okay, nothing. There's a door up there. I don't think that's accessible. And I am hearing some sort of noise, not the AC, it's not coming out of the vent either. Something's maybe happening the floor above us, which technically would be that missing 13th floor. So, I mean, if you look at the light, just because there's a lot of always like hands touching it, I think you're starting to see the outline of a hand and some germs, but that's to be expected. I think any light would have that. Look on the ceiling. How do you get that on the ceiling? I guess that's just like some pre-mold maybe that's growing. Wow, there's a lot of activity on the ceiling, jeez. It almost looks like hand streaks. Look at that. It looks like almost, that's legit. This is legit a hand. Those are fingerprints right there. And it's right next to the toilet. So I think somebody's having a hard time on the toilet and they're just holding on for dear life. Let's even check the toilet. No way. Okay. That is legitimately a handprint right there. I don't want to look any further in there. I'm starting to get spooked. It gets weirdly bright towards the elevator because of that chandelier. It actually looks like a haunted hotel. So 1206 is the room across from us. That was the room that had the really weird activity with the security knocking. Let's go ahead to the ice machine over here. It's always a bit strange just having a plant just in the middle of the hallway like so. Okay, let's see if the ice machine's working first though. It's loud. I mean, other than that, just like look down this hallway. It's a very strange hallway. And this is like a pretty nice hotel. I mean, it's like a vintage hotel, but it's not like it's dirty or anything. It's just like very creepy. Now, since we're unable to go on the actual 13th floor, I'm gonna try to go to the stairwell here to see if there's a way for us to go up one floor to see if there is anything there. So we're in the stairwell. As you can see, we are technically on floor 12, again, because there's no floor 13. And interestingly, the arrows are even telling you to go down as if you're not supposed to go up. There's not even an arrow here telling you to go up. There are stairs though, so I do want to see if we can access some sort of like platform 9 3/4-esque floor 13 in between floors 12 and 14. So let's see what we got up here. Okay, so it goes straight to the 14th floor as noted. So I'm gonna go here. So this is either the 13th or 15th floor. It's just not the actual 14th floor. So let's go onto it and see what is happening here.
It sounds like this place is about to explode, right? It got way louder.
So unlike the 13th floor, there is an additional hallway down at the end here. So this is actually additional elevators to the hotel lobby. I think it's worth going in one of those additional elevators. Maybe they have a 13th floor there, or maybe there's some other random things that we could find there. This way to elevator. We're officially in the back rooms of the Robert Treat Hotel. Okay, weirdly, they have law offices here. I don't know why they have like attorneys on site on their 14th floor. There's a lot of cases that happen with people like mysteriously dying and they need to have some attorneys on site. Okay, so that's very creepy. There's like some kids store or a kids library or playground room in there that has card access.
Yeah, there's one of the rooms here. There's a light on.
So here we are going back down, and in these different hotel elevators, there's still no 13th floor. So let's go ahead to the lobby because I think that's just about as much as we can do in this place. So we're going down now. That was way more adventurous than I expected it to be. The Robert Treat Hotel, 100% haunted. There are some crazy things happening on the 12th and 14th floor, which is effectively the 13th floor. So let's get out of here. If we can.
Just got sent out of an alternative universe.
Are we stuck in here? All right, change of plans. We have to go back into the other elevator bank to leave. So it tells us that we can go here, but it turns out we can't actually go here.
Whoa.
What? Is this the same exit though as the other place? Look at these stairs. Okay, I think I found the actual exit. Keep in mind, this is a hotel. There's no reason I should naturally stumble upon these places. It's like we're in the Squid Game building. Okay, exit lobby. Okay, and then I think I'm trapped in this hotel. It says exit. What is down there? I don't know what's happening right now. We gotta go down. Where are we? All I want to do is leave the hotel. We're in the basement of the Robert Treat Hotel. Never mind the 13th floor, this is like the negative 13th floor at this point. Every single path is just darkness, any direction you go in, and there's no overhead lighting either beyond what you could see right here. This door in fact says danger, do not enter elevator pit, which implies that if you open that door, you will step and fall into a pit that'll probably end up killing you because I'm sure it's a couple of floors down. Let's get out of here. So this is now a totally different elevator actually, but it still looks to be functioning within the Robert Treat Hotel. I'm gonna go back to the 12th floor because ironically that's where I have the most comfort. But if you think about it, the only reason we're able to access all of that is through the 13th floor. Familiar territory. This one. Oh, I thought we were never going to leave this place. The Robert Treat Hotel was definitely a treat, no pun intended. Tons of ghost and haunted activity happening here on the 13th floor. This was pretty wild. The next segments I'm sure are gonna be even crazier, so let's move on. All right guys, so now we're in Manhattan at the Jane Hotel. It's in Chelsea in Manhattan. This notably was where the 1912 Titanic survivors were housed after obviously the Titanic sank. They all came here, and because of that, there was a giant memorial that was held afterwards, of funeral processions, and since then there have apparently been certain ghost sightings and a lot of potentially haunting things that have happened at this hotel. So we're gonna go inside to investigate. They don't necessarily have, I think, a 13th floor. So we're gonna see some of their more different floors that could possibly be haunted, as well as going into the room, which we have. So let's do this. A little bit of the back rooms here. Okay, found the elevator. So we just checked in. We're gonna be on the 3rd floor. Let's head inside. Really interesting vibe here. I don't know how I would describe it. There is not a 13th floor. So we're gonna go ahead and do the 3rd floor, which is the room that I ended up booking because that is the closest thing to 13. It's just one digit away from it. So we're in room 343. Really excited to see this. Let's see if we see any haunted activity happening here. Drum roll in this black painted elevator, which is a little bit strange. This is also what the room key looks like.
3rd floor.
What? Okay, it went from like a little disco fun downstairs, like vintage leather couches and stuff to sit on. We had a nice guy greet us, almost like you were at some sort of like onsen in Japan with like the wood paneling. And then we're in a haunted house all of a sudden. We have like the red light from the exit. We have multiple attics overhead. And then if you look at the door, it's just like the most narrow door frame. And it just looks like a ChatGPT generated haunted hallway. Nonetheless, let's proceed to room 343. Look at the doors. Look at these lights. It looks like a haunted house. And then there's a shared bathroom in here. So I guess there's not a bathroom in the room. So we're going hostel style here, I believe. Just to show you how narrow these hallways are. You couldn't even fit like a large size luggage in here if you were traveling to New York City. Well, how big is this hallway? So room 355 doesn't have a door handle and it looks to be completely abandoned.
What does 355 add up to?
11.
Wait, no, 5 plus 5.
So room 355 adds up to 13 and this room is abandoned on the 3rd floor. There's no door handle here. And if you go inside, what is this? It's just, there's nothing in here. There is no way this is the size of this room. Oh, the lights don't even work in here. Oh, here we go. You're telling me this is the size of the hotel room? What's out this window? All right, it's like a construction site. What a strange room, but the digits of this room, which happens to be an abandoned room, add up to 13. Like, if this is indicative of what's to come in our room, I'm not looking forward to it. All right, so here we are on the 3rd floor. This is our room. Our room adds up to 10.
Shout out Halo fans.
Oh my gosh. So we made it inside. I'm not even joking. This is the smallest room I've ever been in. This room is no more than 5 feet by 6 feet. If you are somebody who is over 6 feet tall, like I am, it would be really impossible to lay down here unless you're taking the diagonal. So this bunk bed, it's a really interesting layout. It looks like pretty clean overall. Definitely a little bit spooky how there's not a lot of room to move around. So I guess that bathroom is definitely a shared bathroom clearly because there's no room to do anything in here. But it does make a lot of use of the space. You even have a little mini TV up there. Once again, the smallest TV I've ever seen. It's like the size of a laptop screen. Let me see what it's like on the top bunk. It's been years since I've gone on a bunk bed. So let's see if I fall in the process of getting up here. And we have a single bed right here. And my feet are touching the wood. Definitely nice and cozy here. Wow, New York City living. And this place was like $350 a night. And you get this, you get to live in a hostel. It is nice though. It's actually kind of charming. If you're coming to New York City and you really want to like be a New Yorker and live in a condensed space, this is gonna be it. So this place is quite interesting. I don't know what their vibe is. I think it's like maybe Japanese or like Asian feng shui or something.
It's the size of like a pod hotel.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is the size of a pod hotel. Mixed, of course, with like that good old American haunting. Quite the interesting spot. There was another room at the end of the hallway that I saw that I'm gonna try to get access to. But as far as the room goes, I mean, there's nothing to tour. This is it. Like, this is the end of the room, and here's the other end of the room. You've seen everything here. It's cool having an outlet on the ceiling. You don't see that often. So if you want to charge your bed, or
Your Tesla bed.
so if you want to charge your phone, you can just do it right there and put it on the sill there. The room is not incredibly creepy or haunted though. This floor though, absolutely. All right, let's see if we missed anything else on this floor, but I think I'm already a little bit spooked. So here's that door that I was alluding to. Okay, it's locked, so we can't access it. I'm gonna see if there's another floor we can access, because I noticed that there was an M, maybe a mezzanine floor that I think you could access if you have one of these keys. So let's see if there's anything else around this hotel, and then we'll get out of here. All right, let's go to this M. Oh my gosh, the M doesn't work. What about the N? Or the Y? Okay, with the B? Looks like we're getting out of here because none of the other floors are accessible, unfortunately, and there's no stairwell. There was another door that said out of order. That must have been the stairway. So this hotel, I think we've exhausted pretty much everything in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out, and we're gonna move on to the next hotel. All right, guys, we are outside of the Hilton in Midtown Manhattan. Notably, this Hilton is where the United Healthcare CEO was assassinated by Luigi Mangione, literally right behind me. So this place already has a little bit of a haunting to it, but notably, it also apparently has a 13th floor, which is incredibly unique. So let's go ahead inside and see what the 13th floor is all about. All right, so we're about to go inside right now. This is a very popular hotel, so I think there's a lot of people staying here. I don't know if that adds or subtracts from the overall haunted nature of it. Let's go in. There's like shopping malls attached to it, so it's a little bit more than a hotel even. So they had a lot of security at the front, I think because of some recent events that happened, and we are actually on the 31st floor, so we are pretty far into this. Before we go to the 13th floor, I think we're gonna check out the room on the 31st floor, which interestingly, inversely, is floor 13. All right, so we are checking into 3101, which is our room right here. 31, if you take the inverse of it, that is of course 13, but we are gonna try to access the 13th floor as well. So hopefully we can get there, but they were pretty strict about which floor you can access. So we might have to do a little bit of finessing in order to get to the 13th floor. Nonetheless, let's see what this room looks like, just to get an idea of what we're playing with. Ooh, well, definitely nothing too haunted here. Granted, we are on the 31st floor, so I didn't expect anything too crazy. If anything, this is the elevated floor. We are on the 31st, so we were like really high up. Actually, I have quite a nice view of Manhattan. If you peek out there, that's like pretty prestige. People pay good money to stay in this room. Got it for a little bit of a discount because I booked so late. Nice big TV. Bathroom's super nice too in here. We have some Crabtree shampoo and shower gel, soap, a lot of hand towels, really nice closet, a mirror that appears a little bit crooked, unless I'm just going crazy there. But I really like this room, but that's not why we're here. We are here for the 13th floor, so let's go ahead and check it out. All right, guys, so we made it to the 14th floor. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the elevator bank from 1 to 15, so we're really beholden to getting onto the elevator with somebody who was on a floor that was adjacent to 13. So this is the closest realistically that we can get. We're gonna try to get to 13th, perhaps through this stairwell, but I have a feeling that if you try to go through, you're gonna get locked out. Let me actually check this. All right, let's send it down to 13. Okay guys, so we are currently in the stairwell. Let's see if they have a 13th floor like it was promised. It would be very eerie if they do. So the Hilton in Midtown New York City actually has a 13th floor. This is the first one that we're seeing. This is super hype. I'm excited to go inside. So far, not like super haunting vibes, but this is a first for us. It looks like it's written in blood too. A stands for a haunted floor. So let's go in right now. There's like a weird clock at the end of here. Is that a clock or a dartboard? It'd be really crazy if it was on like a time that was something 13. So let's look into it. Yeah, look at all these rooms are 13, 13. See the symbolism. So it looks like it's set to 536. All right, let's get going then. So I want to find the coveted room 1313. And I don't know if they got rid of that because that room is just like double bad if you stay in something like that. But it's already so weird seeing all these 13th floor rooms because most of the time people get rid of the 13th floors, as you guys have seen. But this is a really rare instance in which they don't care at all. And you can make the argument, maybe that's why some bad things are currently happening to the Hilton. So let's find this 1313. I'd be really surprised if that exists. Let's see if they have it. On the 13th floor in the Hilton in Midtown, there's a room 1313. I didn't think we would find that today. That is a really rare find. I don't think there is another hotel in all of the Northeast that has a 13th floor and a 1313. Incredibly rare sight right there. Hopefully nobody's staying in there. Very haunting though. There's also a lot of abandoned service carts in this service room that is for room service and for the cleanup and stuff for housekeeping, but nobody seems to be in there. So at the end, you just have a dark room with a lot of towels, blankets, vacuums, and cleaning supplies. You never really get to see the inside of it. So it's weird that on the 13th floor, it's just like an abandoned closet like that. Really cool. I'll dip my foot in just to say I was in there, but I don't want to be disrespectful to the housekeeping staff or anything like that. I didn't even realize these things were like electric too. Like what is this for? Like why even have that? I guess they're motorized, so you don't have to actually push it yourself. There seems to be some sort of like pulley to allow you to push it. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get out of here. On the 13th floor, they even have a 13th car, which is A3, A of course representing 1. Oh, I think we're actually taking it right now. This is like the ultimate 13th transportation elevator, and I'm pretty sure it's about to arrive. Wow, there it is. There's that rare sight. The 13th floor, here we are. Now we're heading to the lobby, a little bit of a pose. And it's gone. This was a really interesting hotel having the 13th floor and everything that was on there, so I'm really happy we're able to access it. I thought we weren't going to be able to at first when they assigned us the 31st floor. Nonetheless, really cool seeing like behind the scenes of the housekeeping and just generally seeing a 1313 room, which I thought didn't exist anywhere in the world, but there you have it. Let's move on to the next hotel then. Right now we are on Broadway and 44th Street at Hotel Edison, which is behind me. It is one of the most storied hotels in Times Square. Hotel Edison is known to be a ghastly and ghostly site, mainly because of a lot of celebrities that have come through here and a lot of crazy things that this hotel has seen in Times Square right behind me. This hotel is known to have a lot of things happen in the lobby, in the rooms, and mainly in the elevator banks, including things like flickering lights. And then of course, the 13th floor has its own lore added to it. So I have a room here. We're gonna see if we could access the 13th floor and see if there's any sort of jank going on there. Let's go inside. It has like that old-timey font to it, which is cool. So let's head in. So here we are inside. The first thing I'm noticing is that there is no 13th floor and you're unable to access any floor that is not yours. At least that's my hypothesis. I spoke too soon. We are actually able to access the 14th floor, which in this case looks to be the actual 13th floor because it goes 1, 2, and then so on and so forth. So we're gonna go to this 14th floor and we're gonna see what's on it. So the vibes of this hotel are honestly a little bit strange. It's Art Deco. really bizarre long hallways that are pretty wide too. And like the pattern of the carpet and the floor is such that it just doesn't really look like a hotel too much. Yeah, this hotel is Art Deco, so that's the design and aesthetic to this place because it was made in the 30s. So it is fairly unique, but in the lobby, they have a lot of weird protocols too. Credit card machine wasn't working. There was like this barefoot girl that was trying to run outside and security had to stop her. There was like a family that was checking out for like 12 minutes. So a lot of interesting things happening in the lobby. So I expect a lot more on the 13th floor. So let's walk around and see. They have an electrical room. Let's see if they have room 1413. Although first they have water, it's just ice. It's just ice. Why say water if it's just ice? All right, so we're looking for room 1413 because that's the closest we're gonna get to a true 13th floor. So we are on the 13th floor technically. Oh, notably they pass it. So 1409, 1411, it should be this next one, but then it's 1415. So there's just a gap right here where 1413 should be. So interestingly, they chose to omit it from their floor for superstitious reasons, for the same reason the 13th floor just doesn't exist. They have an old time rotary phone here that doesn't look to work. Maybe it's just for the design, but I am going to pick it up and see if it has a dial tone. Oh, it does.
Good evening, Hotel.
Somebody picked it up. All right, I probably just spooked him out. He just got like a ghost call from somebody who is not actually a ghost. Okay, a lot of abandoned housekeeping carts that I've noticed. They just leave them out. I guess it's good if you could like see a water, you could just grab one or something. But otherwise, it's just a really quiet floor. I could hear my voice echo amongst the walls. The walls, they have good acoustic paneling. They have this old, I'm guessing 1930s US mail chute. So if you do have to send something out through the post office, I'm guessing you just drop it in like so, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, down there, it looks to be a legitimate chute that goes right down. I think even at the bottom of this is a USPS, if I remember, right on like the side of Times Square. So I don't know if it goes directly to them, maybe it goes into some tube that they then feed to them. Nonetheless, a really cool, unique artifact that they kept around. Let's check out the room though, because I think this place is going to have some really interesting rooms. There's Cold Stone right next to the rotary phone. How do you even work this? If I want to dial a number, I don't know what I just called. Somebody's just getting a random phone call right now. I think you like take the number and then you drag it to there and then it counts it. So I just did 4 perhaps. Can't be too sure. I have no idea. It even says actually antique telephone is a nice touch. Let's go into the room though. Check it out before we get out of here. What was the room number? 2019. Good year. 2019 this way. What?
Oh, this is evens.
Oh, I guess Art Deco hotels are divided by odds and even. So that's the even side. So then the odds, which is our room, is going to be down here. So 2015, good year, to 2019, great year. Here we go. That's strange. Never seen that before. What? You like open it and there's this panel like just right in front of you. And then the light is incomplete. It only gets to one side of the room. Really weird setup, but the room is very spacious. It'd be great if I could find a light. Wow, that TV does not match in this room. What a tiny TV. What is this door? Closet? Yeah, okay, so that's a closet. So it comes with Starbucks coffee. It's a little bit high grade. There's actually a YouTube ad right outside of our window, and you get the bright lights from Times Square directly in, which kind of allows it to not be haunted because you always have the bright lights here, so it's never like, I guess, too dark in this room. Even with this down, I'm sure there's just like a whole bunch of light. It does say the windows do not open. I wonder if that's because they've had a couple of instances in which people have attempted to jump out of them. I wouldn't be surprised being on Broadway. You have a lot of celebrities and high profile people come through with lots of stress, but down there is just the midst of Times Square. So this is Hotel Edison. Decent on the inside, like it's definitely a little bit of a weird vibe here though. Something about carpet, any place with this type of carpet just scares me. And then going out in the hallway and just seeing what's going on out there definitely has its own idiosyncrasies to it that I think qualify it as a really creepy 13th floor and therefore hotel. We are currently outside of Hotel Carter. Hotel Carter is notorious for being one of the worst hotels in New York City history. At one point it had on TripAdvisor 1.7 stars and on Google review, I think it was like in the high 2s, which is abysmally bad for a Manhattan hotel, especially a high-rise hotel. It wasn't even like a small boutique one. I think it has around 14 floors, so it did actually have a 13th floor that many people said was haunted. Here's some B-roll of what it looked like on the inside. It's actually been closed for 10 years now, so unfortunately we can't go inside. This B-roll that we shot, plus from what you see online, is kind of the extent of it. I think it's in the process of being completely demoed, which is kind of sad, because I would have loved to go inside of a crappy hotel and see if there's any ghosts, because apparently there were, because a lot of celebrities and political figures stayed inside of here, and it's right outside of Times Square and Broadway, so a lot of action happened here. But that's it. This next hotel that we're at is called the Residence Inn in Jersey City. Now there's not much lore behind it. It's not necessarily haunted. I don't even know if there's a 13th floor, but I do know there's at least 13 floors because it's one of 5 hotels in New Jersey that have at least 13 floors. So we're gonna go ahead and investigate. I'm just curious if they have a 13th floor because we saw a lot of these hotels are doing the 12th and 14th floor in substitution for 13. So we'll see what they have. I mean, as you can see all the way up, I think they have at least 13. It looks like maybe 15 or 16. We're gonna check it out right now. Here is the elevator bank. And the first thing I'm noticing is we are missing the 13th floor. All right, so we were put on the 8th floor. So I am in room 811 and that's fine because we're still able to access the 12th or 14th floor, which is great. I'm gonna stop first at the 8th floor so I can check out just the room. And then we're going to move to the 12/14th floor. Pretty nice hotel. Overall, it's just very modern. I think it's one of the tallest hotels in Jersey City, if not the tallest. Room 811 should be right here. Here's some crying babies though. It's a good sign though, it's a sign of life. Okay, and what do we got? Ooh, wow, fancy. Got a kitchen and everything. It's like a little apartment, a little studio. Okay, very cool. Infinitely less creepy than a lot of the other spots. Does have a little bit of a funk to it, some sort of smell. I don't know if my nose is just sensitive. Now, one thing I am looking out for, because we are in a Marriott, is a Book of Mormon. So for Mormonism, they have their Bible, which is the Book of Mormon. It's apparently always in the drawers at any Marriott hotel because the founders of the Marriott Hotel had ties with John Smith of the Mormonism faith. So let's go ahead and look in here to see if we could find it. That'd be a pretty funny Easter egg. I'm assuming it's gonna be bedside. Okay, not there, so it must be on the other one. Let's see if this was a complete lie or if it's true. Ooh, oh, they do have it. That is crazy. The Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ. And they also have the Holy Bible in here. So they have the Bible here, and this obviously is great to read, but it may also be used for exorcisms that could happen here because maybe there is some haunted activity. This, on the other hand, I've never actually read this in my life. Quite interesting how any Marriott you stay at should have a Book of Mormon there. All right, Utah, let's go into the hotel elevator now and see what we can find. So we're gonna start by going to the 12th floor of this hotel because the 13th floor can usually be either the 12th or the 14th. And similarly to what we've been doing, we'll walk up the stairs to see if there is anything in between the 12th and 14th floor, or if there's just anything crazy on one of these floors. So the 8th floor is pretty standard. We saw the room was definitely interesting with that Book of Mormon, the Bible on the bedside. Nothing too concerning, but here we go.
Going down.
All right, so at first glance, things seem to be normal. It's just a normal floor. We're gonna be thorough though, in case we find anything here. I'm not seeing anything. Is this the end of our journey? It is. So Michael noted that there was a room 1213. So the Algonquin in New York City actually stripped the number 13 from the suffix of any of their room numbers, but this hotel does have a room 1213. So 13 is still available to stay in technically, which is a little bit unlucky, but they still don't have a 13th floor. Let's go up. Let's see if we're being fooled and if there's actually a 13th floor. So we were just on 12. This is one continuous shot and it goes right to 14. Smells like pastina with butter. The ghosts are cooking here. This floor smells great. Actually, this floor is notably missing the 13th room. So we have 1412, 1411, 1414. If you'll recall, one floor below there was 1213 that was right over here. So this floor doesn't have it. So maybe the only floor that even has the suffix 13 is 1213, which is crazy. I want to see, let's go to one more floor to check out whether or not maybe that was just a fluke. Maybe this floor, for whatever reason, isn't built with like that segment, because that's strange. You would think it's the same exact layout, but it's entirely different. Let's go to 11. So we made it to floor 11 now. We're gonna see if there's 1113. Okay, so this room exists on the 11th floor. So there's 1113, there's 1213, there's not 1413, which means on the 13th floor, which is technically the 14th floor, there isn't a 13 at the end of it. So that has to be superstitious. There has to be a reason as to why they chose to omit it. That's crazy. All right, Residence Inn by Marriott. I guess you guys abide by the 13th conspiracy, which I totally get. That's kind of cool to witness how maybe even when they built the building, they just didn't include that little segment because they knew when they were planning this thing out that they weren't gonna have that room on it. Because like there's not even like a space for it. It's not like they like renumbered it to something else. It just doesn't exist. It makes you think from like a architectural angle, they just chose to completely not have it. All right, guys, well, that was a lot of fun and also quite scary going on the 13th floor of these hotels, but thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more content, make sure to click here, Otherwise, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.